First of all, they was going to put a bench in, cut enough timber to build a house for the two brothers, Dad and Bill. And they built the first bench, and the biggest problem was how to power it. They put some sort of a motor here that run it for a while and it didn't work. Any Goodwin talked them into putting steam on. So they spent 2 or 3 weeks going down to Dixon's Long Point. They had an old Dodge truck that they let down over the hill from the top of Dixon with a hand winch. They drove it around the river for about a mile, put this boiler on and brought it back, wound it back up to the top of the hill. Then wound the truck back down again and went round and got the engine and did the same with that, drove it back to the bottom of the hill, wound it to the top. I don't know how long this took or what they lived on at the time, but they set this little engine up just behind me here and started it up and it looked good. As soon as they put something on the saw, it just didn't have half the power that it needed. So they started all over again, was on again.
They had it running on gas, like a gas producer. They could never produce enough gas to keep it at a constant rev. So she used to roar and then she'd starve and backfire and cut out. And
they got this Cadillac, V8 Cadillac engine, and that did a good job. They set it up over there in front of it, near the boiler somewhere. And that had heaps of power, and it wasn't all that costly to run, and it runs for 4 or 5 years.
It got burnt in one of the fires that was running it. They had, I think it was a V16 bloody Hurricane motor out of an aeroplane hooked up to it.
The Cadillac was still there. They got this thing set up, and they had the two of them hooked up to the belt, the main shaft. And they used the Cadillac engine to turn this whole aeroplane engine to get it going. And bugger me if it didn't go. And it was the loudest bloody thing you ever hear.
Different types of steam engines. The old boiler up that's still up there, that was a stationary boiler and it had like a stationary motor belted down beside it.
The steam. They went over to Sunny Corner. That come out of a sawmill at Sunny Corner, the steam engine. So they knew that was going to do the job. They actually seen it work before they bought it. And you couldn't get parts, you couldn't get anything made for it. So they bought over from Cadillac the portable, the big 2-cylinder portable engine. And that didn't take much setting up. They just wheeled it in and put a belt on down into the main shaft.
That ran the mill when I was a kid going to school. That was still running the mill. After that, they bought an old Lister, 4-cylinder Lister, come off of an old army spotlights, searchlights kind of things. Huge big old motor. The hand crank on it, 2-man crank. That's how you started it. Me and the old man, and I was only a kid, you'd get there and you'd start, had valve lifters. You'd get there and wind her up until you got it going, and then you'd say, drop the valves, and you'd flick the lever and away she'd go.
They had another steam engine, that one there. And they wore it, that one behind. And that blew up. This old engine here, you can see the piston rod up there is bent. But the diesel, we used that for, I'd say, about 2 years until they finally got around to put the power on all the houses. And, the chap that was doing the houses, I'll keep an eye out for an engine for the sawmill. He found this one. I know it cost £300 at the time. And once that got online, that'd be about 1962. Up till then, they used 7 engines. And from 62 up till today, that whole electric motor is still winding away, no problems.